Assalamualaikum.
जी Ammara, welcome. Please have a seat. Ammara, first of all, let me congratulate you on qualifying main part of PMS exam.
Thank you, sir.
We are three people. We are here to conduct a mock exercise so that we can check your interview preparation. So let's start the mock interview. Please introduce yourself.
Sir, I'm Ammara Sattar. I am from district Jainam. We are a family of 6 people. I am the eldest among all my siblings. My parents, my father works in corporate sector. He and my mother also run an academy together. I have done my bachelor's in chemistry from Qaid-e-Azam University, Islamabad. And right after that, I started preparing for the competitive exams. And clearing the written part of an exam is one of the highest milestones that I have crossed in my life. And I'm looking forward towards the interview process and clearing the exam, inshallah, if the luck is on my side.
Okay, Ammara, how many districts are in Punjab?
So there are 41 districts in Punjab.
Okay.
The 5 have been newly added.
Okay. Do you really think it was a necessary step?
So I think
Don't you think it would put more pressure on our already meager resources which our governments have?
Sir, I think there are pros and cons of every step. Already there are some problems that we have seen. For example, after the Murray tragedy that we saw, in which there was mismanagement on the part of the administration. That after that it was a right step, I think, to think about creating new districts. However, this would not create many problems on the resources because 5 districts, the creation of 5 new districts is manageable already. I think it would not be a big problem. Its pros will outcount the cons of it.
There has been a consistent debate in Pakistan to have new provinces.
Yes,
In Punjab, in KPK, in Sindh, and in Balochistan. Do you support the idea of creation more provinces, especially when it comes to division of Punjab?
Sir, I think if the provinces are created on the basis of administration or administrative causes, it is a good thing. Even if our national exchequer allows that. But if this division is to be done on the basis of linguistic or some other sectarian basis, then it is a very bad step because it will divide our country. As far as division of Punjab province is considered, they often say that South Punjab province should be created, but I think it would not be a good step because population of although the population of Punjab province is very high, it's about 110 million people living here. We need better administration, but I think this would not be the right step because of the national exchequer that we have. We are facing some problems financially, and we cannot make a separate administrative blocks, judiciary, and all the setup required for a new province.
Okay, from your answer, I have 2 further questions. So, don't you think there is a similarity in the grievances of the population of the then Bengal of United India, which led to the partition of Bengal in 1905, and the people of Punjab? If we dig on the history, we see that the people were demanding the partition of Bengal because it was such a huge province with a huge number of population that it was difficult to manage. Now, it's the same is the case with the Punjab. It is around 52% of total population of Pakistan lives there. A person sitting in the border town of Punjab in Rahimia Khan or Sadkabad, he has to see or travel towards Lahore, which would be in fact a burden on its resources and creates a hardship. Don't you think on the one side, we, the Muslims of the Indian subcontinent, we supported the idea of the partition of Bengal, but now we have our own country and now we are opposing this idea?
Sir, I think when back in that time when Bengal was partitioned, there was a clear-cut, a polar difference between the condition of the East and West Bengal. The West Bengal had majority population of Hindus at that time, and they were creating many problems for the Muslims because all the agricultural and industrial lands and all the property was concentrated in the West Bengal, and East Bengalis were not given their due rights. But as in Punjab now, I think even though there are some logistical problems that the people of South Punjab face, but both the situations are not very much comparable. The overall access to the government setup is equal for the people belonging to East and West. Belonging to Southern and Central Punjab.
Have you been to South Punjab?
No, sir,
Have
I've
you
never been to.
seen how people are living there? What is their financial condition? How hardships they face when it comes to health, provision of health facilities or the education? Is there any reputable public sector university in South Punjab? Is there any reputable medical college there? Is there any reputable engineering college there?
Sir, I've
So how
not.
can you say that the living standards are equal in the central and the South Punjab? Do you have any cogent reason to support your argument?
Sir, I've never been to South Punjab, but I've heard about the universities like Bahauddin Zakria University, and also about some medical colleges.
Like,
Sir, I'm unable to recall the name of the medical college, but it's
how
in the
many
Red
medical
Plain,
colleges
Lahore.
are in City Lahore?
Welcome to CSPs Academy for CSS PMS preparation. CSS PMS तहरीरी इम्तिहान के तमाम मज़ामीन की ऑनलाइन और ऑन कैंपस तैयारी के साथ साथ सब्जेक्ट सिलेक्शन, असाइनमेंट चेकिंग, क्लास टेस्ट, मॉक एग्जाम, इंडिविजुअल टीचर डिस्कशन और फीडबैक सेशन का इनकाद किया जाएगा। इसके अलावा FPSC की तजवीज़ करदा बुक्स से बने मयारी नोट्स और CSP पब्लिशर की बेहतरीन बुक्स मुहैया की जाएंगी।
So there are 3 to 4 government medical colleges.
One of
and
the
some
best for. And I believe there are 2 medical colleges in South Punjab. One is
Yes,
Multan
sir.
and second one is Bahawalpur.
Yes, sir.
Okay, forget about it. You said that provinces should not be divided on their linguistic lines.
Yes,
Why
sir.
so? We are Punjabis, you are a Punjabi,
Yes, sir.
and you're ready to have a right based on your language. On the other side, there are the people of Sindh. On the other side, recently, the government and the people of the Pakistan extended the same the facility and the opportunity to the people of the KPK. Earlier, it was NWFP. They were given the name. So why can't we? Why we are so afraid of dividing units based on the language?
Sir, when KPK was, when NWFP, erstwhile NWFP was named KPK, the people living in the NWFP region, they not, except for the Pakhtun population there, they did not like this move. They said that they have not been represented because of the name Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. This only represents the Pakhtun population of the erstwhile NWFP
So
population.
do you have any idea about the population composition of KPK? How many divisions are there where the Pashtun people reside, and how many divisions are there in which non-Pashtun people resides?
So I do not know clearly about the demographics, but I know that Pashtun population is the majority population in KPK.
Okay, Ammara, you are going to be a PMS officer, inshallah. What is the economy of Punjab?
So, Punjab is the industrial province of Pakistan. It contributes about 50% to all the industrial setup that Pakistan has. 50% to the GDP of the overall industrial sector. So I think economically Punjab is a very important province. It has universities, it has research-based development institutions, it has major corporate sector institutions, etc. And its population is mostly literate. 69% people living in Punjab are literate. So I think overall contribution of Punjab to economy is quite reasonable.
Okay, what is the Punjab share in NFC award?
Sir, I do not exactly know the figure.
Okay, what is the share of provinces in NFC award? What is the division between federal government and the provinces?
So it is 40-60, 40% to the federation and 60% to
Are you
the
sure?
provinces.
Isn't it 56-44?
So,
56% provinces and 44% federal government?
I
No,
will
it is
take myself.
56-44.
Yes, sir.
Okay, do you have any idea about the job responsibilities of an assistant commissioner?
So an assistant commissioner is given the responsibility to govern the tehsil level at administrative level, and also he has some authority regarding the financial decision making, and also some of the executive and judiciary responsibilities too. He is responsible for the overall health He checks the health institutions there. He also is responsible for any sort of protest that is happening there, or all the major decisions in a tehsil, they are taken by the assistant commissioner.
How can this analysis of socio-political issues in magazine newspaper be a hobby?
So because I used to do this in my extra time when I was not working, because my degree was BS chemistry, so that was a quite different thing. And whenever I used to have some spare time, I would spend that on writing.
Ammara, what are the solution to the socio-economic or socio-political issues of Pakistan?
So I think the first solution is that Pakistan has a very high population. We need to reduce the population growth rate, firstly. And second important thing that we can do is that we need to make our economy export oriented from being import oriented economy. Thirdly, we need to reduce our consumption rate. We are 98% consumption oriented economy. All we are earning, we are spending that on consumption. And fourth important thing that we can do is we need to work on the youth, because in this regard we are a very lucky nation that our majority population is the youth population. We need to work on them, and we need to work on making better decisions for them that can incorporate them into the mainstream economy.
Okay, Ammara, you studied public administration.
Yes, sir.
In public administration, it is a subject which was evolved, and the most contribution in the when it comes to evolution of public administration as an academic discipline were by the American scholars. The former American president and American scholar Woodrow Wilson, he once remarked, "It is easy to frame a constitution than to run it." So, what is your comment on this quotation of Woodrow Wilson?
So I think constitution is made. However, when it is implemented, we need to think upon the contingency issues, because each and every area, each and every district, for example, in Pakistan too, Sindh has its own sort of problems, Balochistan has its own sort of problems, Punjab has its own problems. So whenever there is a need to implement the constitution, there are different problems that arise, and all those problems and the given circumstances are to be considered by the administrator, and respond to them accordingly. That's why it's said that it is easy to make a constitution but difficult to run a constitution.
Do you think in Pakistani circumstances, is it so easy to even frame a constitution?
Sir, I think it is easy to frame a constitution.
Even to introduce a constitutional amendment, we have a constitution now. Is it easy to create a consensus? Because constitution is a rigid document. Pakistan, in Pakistan, you require 2/3 majority to amend a constitution. Do you think it is easy to bring a constitutional amendment in Pakistani scenario?
So I think it is not very easy, because whenever there is a problem of creating consensus, it's difficult for us to bring the political parties on a table for them to discuss. So it is a difficult procedure, but as compared to the administration part, it is comparatively easier.
Okay, last question from my side. Psychology. A few days back, I was reading something in the news item that around 75% of Pakistani population is suffering from some sort of mental distress, or you can say that their mental health is at stake. What step can society or the government or the administration can take to check the mental issues of the public?
Study to secure the career of your choice. Get it now. Join us for CSS PMS preparation under the supervision of CSPs and subject specialists at the platform of CSPs Academy. Join CSS PMS for on-campus and online classes. Choose the best for your bright future. Register now at 0316 570 1593.
So as far as the society is concerned, I think first thing is that the society should create the space that, as we consider the physical illness as an illness, there is a need to create a space that we consider a mental illness is also a sort of illness. We somehow try to devalue somebody when he says that I am mentally not fit, we consider that this person is this person should be referred to some alim or something like that, rather than to some hospital. The first thing is that the society should create the space that that such issues are real. The second important thing, I think, which should be done on the part of the government, it is that the issues that create mental problems in Pakistani youth are that they are not given equal opportunities. They are suffering from the issues like unemployment and underrepresentation, etc. So government should make it sure that all the population, irrespective of what their backgrounds are, what their situations are, they all should be given their due deference to whatever they demand from the society.
Okay, thank you. This is all from my side. Now I request sir
Thank you very much.
to ask.
So nice. Okay, Ammara, you have done your master's in chemistry. Can you name any person from chemistry who won the Nobel Prize last year?
Yes, sir. Last year, 3 scientists have won Nobel Prize in chemistry for their work on click chemistry. Their names are Caroline Bertozzi, Morton Mildel, and Carl Sharpless. They have worked
Are
on.
you telling me about Nobel Prize winners in 2022 or 2021?
No, so I do not remember about them.
You're telling me about, I believe, 2022. Okay, so how many Nobel Prize have been awarded in chemistry in total?
Sir, I'm not aware of this. I'm sorry.
Okay, so it is said that all chemistry is driven by physics. What is your opinion?
Sir, I think it is true that all chemistry is driven from physics. For example, when we talk about radioactivity, the first concept of radioactivity in radiations, it started from the physics. And when Marie Curie did her experiments on radioactivity, on radium and on polonium, at that moment there was a new wave that radiations are important. They can work for many other disciplines too. And from there, the chemists took that perspective and started working on that.
Okay, you have opted psychology in your optional papers. Can you tell me what is alpha mind?
So I'm not very sure about this answer, but I think alpha minds are those who are very intensive and who are very impulsive.
Right. In your favorite personality, you have mentioned Malcolm X.
Yes, sir.
So, do you know about Martin Luther King Jr.?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what was the disagreement between Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr.?
Sir, Malcolm X thought that the black people are not given their due rights and the whites are doing violence on them. So they should be tackled in the right way. And according to him, the right way was that violence can be cut down or can be rescued through violence. Whereas Martin Luther King was different in this regard. He said that in his March to Washington, he said, "We dream of a society where all the black and white people, they can live together." So Martin Luther King thought that all the things should be sorted out through negotiations, whereas Malcolm X said that negotiation is not the solution because we have been doing it for the last 400 years and there have been no result that we can see in this regard. So this was a major argument. And sir, I also read a very interesting thing about that later on from Malcolm X's autobiography, in which the author said that it was the white people who were trying to expand the gap between the thoughts of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, because in the end both of them wanted emancipation for the black people, but by the white people's thought of divide and rule, they were trying to showcase that Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, both of them, they have quite different and polar personalities. They have polar inspirations. That's why the black people could be divided on the agenda so that they can be failed in their regards.
Okay, how many times Martin Luther King and Malcolm X met each other?
Sir, they only met once.
Thank you
And
very
that too
much.
for 15 minutes.
Wadila Prasad.
Okay, we are talking about Malcolm X. From which religion he belongs?
So Malcolm X initially was a Christian. Later on,
And when he accepted Islam? And
initially-
where?
So he was in prison when he accepted Islam, and he accepted the Nation of Islam. That was actually a black movement. That was some sort of Islam that they considered, but later on, Malcolm X researched about it, and he got to know that this is the wrong version of Islam. This is some sort of black movement, and he later on accepted the Sunni version of Islam, and he also went to pilgrimage to Mecca.
What is divide and rule?
So it's the divide and rule thing is that the population that is being governed should be divided across different lines and different agendas, so that there comes a problem of unity among them, so that they start fighting among themselves, and so that they can be made weakened, and this makes it easy to govern them, because when they are fighting with each other, they would not stand against the mightier administrator or mightier king.
If I would say in subcontinent, with reference to the subcontinent, when British East India Company or the British came to subcontinent, they divided India into provinces, then divisions, then into districts, then into tehsils, then into union councils. I would say this is my divide and rule. In order to make better administration, they divided India into smaller territorial units. But your divide and rule is different. What you say about this?
So I think there are two interpretations, or might be
There are
more than
different
two different
interpretations.
interpretations.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Did you know about Tories and Whigs?
Sorry, sir, I don't know about
Achha,
that.
liberals or conservatives?
Sir, I have some idea about this. The liberals are those who adhere to the new philosophy, the new right philosophies about the things, whereas the conservatives are those who cling to the older perspectives, or the older philosophers,
Let's say
etc.
I belong to the conservative section of society, and you are being an administrator of the tehsil ki aap administrator hai AC mein. If I come and I say agitate kar raha hu main for some conservative issues related to religions, how you will convince me?
Sir, I think in religion there is some flexibility always to talk about a problem. For example, sir, what sort of issue that might be?
For example, मैं कहता हूँ कि मेरे जो स्पीकर जो है वो लाउड ही रखना है, डिस्पाइट जो फेडरल की तरफ से सेक्शन है, वो फेडरल गवर्नमेंट तो इनफिडल है, एंड बिकॉज आई एम मुस्लिम एंड वेरी एडहेरेंट मुस्लिम, सो मैं तो नहीं मानूंगा. तो आप जो है बीइंग अ एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर, how you will deal with the conservative section of society?
Sir,
I just wanted to know what should be your bent of mind while as an administrator.
So I think such issues which are sensitive in nature too, they should be dealt with calmly. For example, if a person comes in and talks about that a loudspeaker should be on, and they do not show flexibility about that, I think we as administrators would talk to them, and we would try to convince them. And if they do not consider it, I think then we are bound by rules. In the end, we would just do what the rules and regulations allow us to.
Okay, a subcontinent was under the British rule, and there was a British colonialism subcontinent. What do you think? Okay, British colonial rule in subcontinent was good or bad?
Sir, British colonial rule was good in some extents too. For example, they made some universities, they made some industries. They also made some, for example, civil services. This was introduced by them. There are some pros also, but there are some problems too that British
What were those problems?
So, for example, they kept the Hindus and Muslims colonized for such a long time. They forced them to join World War I and World War II. There were some repressive policies of them. For example, when Muslims and Hindus together, they fought the 1857 War of Independence. There were some grievances that they basically fought the war against. So,
okay, what was the education system before the arrival of British in subcontinent?
So before the arrival of British, there was maktab system in the subcontinent, and they were some.
Was it formal or informal?
So there was informal sort of system.
And again, before the arrival of the British in subcontinent, economy जो है वो किन lines पे चलती थी?
So that too was some sort of informal economy, and the exchange of money was not in term of currency and all that. There were some coins that were used, and also there were some divan systems and all that.
What was the legal system before the arrival of the British?
So I'm not aware of that.
Again, after the arrival of the British, they introduced legal system in subcontinent.
Yes, sir.
What is legal hierarchy in your country?
So, legal hierarchy in terms of law.
Judiciary.
So, there's Chief Justice.
एपिक्स कोर्ट से लेके नीचे तक कौन सी कोर्ट्स हैं?
So I'm not very sure about this, but there is a Supreme Court, then there are high courts, and so I think I'm not very much able to answer this question.
Okay, now come to talk about Minto Morley reforms. What are the salient features? 2 salient features, tell.
So in the Minto Morley reform, they for the first time accepted the separate electorate. And another important feature of that was they considered Muslim League an important representative party for the Muslims, and also they said that from now on, whenever we would be considering the discussion with Muslims and Hindus, we would be calling Muslim League and Congress on the table.
When Indian National Congress resigned from ministries.
So,
and what was the pretext?
So Indian National Congress resigned from the ministries in 1939.
Yes, and what was the pretext?
So I think they. So I'm not very sure about this, but I'm making a guess. I think when they were forced to join the World War II, they did not want to, and later on they resigned on this pretext.
What do you think? वो क्या चाह रहे थे in order to put pressure on the British government in India? वो resign करके उनको क्यों pressurize करना चाह रहे थे?
So they wanted to show that we can resign from these formal ministries and we can think of any other solution, because the check, as Gandhi said, that the British are now giving us the outdated check. So they thought that they can do it themselves now.
Okay, thank you.
Now let's start the feedback session. आपको क्या लगता है कि आपने कैसा परफॉर्म किया आज?
So I think I performed average.
Okay. क्यों आपने एवरेज परफॉर्म किया? क्या किस वजह से आपको ये लगा है?
So I think the questions from your side, I could not answer to them very well, because there were the questions like administrative issues. I actually could not answer the question about the law hierarchy.
Okay, स्टार्ट करते हैं. इंट्रोडक्शन को आप थोड़ा सा इम्प्रूव करें अपना. आप इंट्रोडक्शन के बारे में बताएं कि माई नेम इज़ दिस इज़ माई एजुकेशनल क्वालिफिकेशन, आई हेल फ्रॉम दिस एरिया, आई बिलोंग टू एन एजुकेटेड फैमिली, दिस इज़ माई अचीवमेंट्स, दिस इज़ आर माई ड्रीम्स, सो दिस इज़ माई विजन. इस किस्म की बात 1 मिनट का एक हिस्सा आपका जो है इंट्रोडक्शन. वो आपका इंट्रो किस दिन है बेटा?
So 27th
Tuesday. एक दिन है, enough time. आपकी you got a very good communication skills. आपकी माशाल्लाह आपको इंग्लिश भी बोलना आती है, आपको कैरी भी करना आता है. अच्छा, उसके बाद अब मेरी इन चीज़ों के साथ है बेटा. देखें, हम गलती कब तब करते हैं जब हम ऐसी बात करते हैं जिसका हमें कुछ आइडिया नहीं होता. आपने क्वेश्चन आंसर दिया, जो मैंने डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स के बारे में पूछा था, अगले 3-4 सवाल उसी में से निकले. हमने नहीं कहना, देखिए ये हमारी डिबेट नहीं है कि जो है कि किस तरह होना चाहिए, ये हम जरूर कह सकते हैं कि इस तरह होना चाहिए कि वी शुड हैव अ न्यू यूनिट्स बेस्ड ऑन एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव थिंग. हमें ये स्टांस नहीं लेना चाहिए लिंग्विस्टिक, वो एक डिफरेंट डिबेट चली जाती है. ठीक है, जब सिंधी, पंजाबी, बलोच और पठान अपने अपने लैंग्वेज के बेस में हैं, तो वह कांट सराइकी एंड द पोटोहारी पीपल वो भी तो डिमांड करते हैं, हज़ारा के लोग हैं. तो ये एक बड़ी कंट्रोवर्शियल सी डिबेट है, इस पर आपने नहीं जाना. कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इज़ नॉट एन ईजी डॉक्यूमेंट टू प्रिपेयर और मेक. पाकिस्तान जैसे डाइवर्स कंट्री के अंदर जहाँ पे हर बंदा डिफरेंट है, वहाँ पे आपको पता है 73 से पहले 2 कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बने, दोनों एब्रोगेट हो गए, ख़त्म हो गए. 73 एब्रोगेट नहीं हुआ क्योंकि जिन्होंने जब मार्शल लगे तो उन्हें पता था कि इतनी मुश्किल से डॉक्यूमेंट बना, कभी कुछ ना कुछ पार्ट्स उसको सस्पेंड कर देते थे. इट इज़ नॉट एन डॉक्यूमेंट टू मेक इट, इट्स एन ईजी टू मेक इट. बट अगेन जब वो विल्सन कहता है तो उसका पर्पज़ ये था कि आप बना तो लेते हैं, उसके बाद कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन डिफ़ाइन करता है जो आपकी लाइन है आपके हर इंस्टीट्यूशन की पावर्स की, इनके बारे में. तो कहता है कि जब वो एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन जो है, जो गवर्नमेंट के रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स हैं, उनको कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल डोमेन के अंदर या लाइंस के अंदर रखना. देखिए ना, अब यू विल बी असिस्टेंट कमिश्नर, ठीक है, अब आपके ऊपर कितना चेक एंड बैलेंस रखा जा सकता है. ठीक है, तो वो आप जैसे अपनी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, इट इज़ हाउ दैट इज़ वाई इट इज़ डिफिकल्ट टू रन इट, कि लोगों के ऊपर जो चेक एंड बैलेंस है वो लोग उस डोमेन से बाहर निकलते हैं. ये चीज़ इस कॉन्टेक्स्ट के अंदर जो है वो बात करी थी. कम्युनिकेशन स्किल जैसे मैंने आपको बताया बहुत हैं, सोच के बोलना है.
जी सर. ठीक
है, जैसे सर पूछ रहे थे तो आप बोली गई, थोड़ा थोड़ा पॉज दें, 5-10 सेकेंड्स है इनफ. आप अपना आइडिया थोड़ा सा कंसल्ट करते हैं, फिर बात शुरू होती है तो आपके जहन में जो है वो आइडियाज़ जो है वो हमें आना जो है वो शुरू हो जाते हैं।
जी सर।
क्रिकेट आपको पता होना चाहिए बेटा, कौन सी वर्ल्ड चैम्पियन है, पाकिस्तान की टीम की कैप्टन कौन है खातून, ठीक है। आप फिर एनालिसिस चलें, वो तो आपका ठीक था, जवाब आपने दे दिया। उसके बाद आपने ठीक है, बाकी आपका ठीक था, बस यही चीज़ें थी, इस पे आप इम्प्रूव करें। अदरवाइज़ यू आर माशाल्लाह कॉन्फिडेंट लेडी, आपके अंदर आपको कैरी करना अपना आता है, बाकी सब चीज़ें ठीक है, बस ये थोड़ी थोड़ी चीज़ें डिफाइन करने की जरूरत है।
जी
सर ओवर।
Sir, thank you very much. अच्छा बेटा, during the introduction, you were using discourse markers. So
Ji,
avoid
sir.
them because you already prepare your introduction. Okay, so you must be very well versed with it.
जी सर।
The rest of the question that you answers that were really fantastic. Oh, I had nothing else to ask and add to it. So on my side, sir, she is doing very well. Sir, over to
सर
Wadi
सब
Dr.
कुछ
Saab.
सर आपने एक्सप्लेन कर दिया है, आपने कुछ पूछना तो पूछ सकती हैं।
सर मैं थोड़ा सा नर्वस हो गई थी जब स्टार्ट के सारे क्वेश्चंस नहीं दे पा
देखिए
रही थी
बेटा,
ना आंसर।
पर्पस जो वहाँ पे होगा, वहाँ पे इस इंटरव्यू से ज़्यादा रिलैक्स इन्वायरमेंट होगा। उसके अंदर इससे ज़्यादा आसान क्वेश्चंस होंगे, ठीक है। क्योंकि वो एक बहुत होलिस्टिक सी व्यू, हम तो आपको एक मैदान जंग के लिए तैयार कर रहे हैं। हम आपको थोड़ा सा ग्रिल भी करेंगे, मुश्किल से मुश्किल क्वेश्चन भी पूछेंगे, ठीक है। वो हो सकता है वो आपसे सिंपल नीलाम घर के टोकन क्वेश्चन पूछने शुरू कर दें, वो आप कहीं उन्हें फील हो गया। सिर्फ आपको ये एडवाइस है कि आपने जो बात करनी, मैं आपको स्टूडेंट्स को कहता होता हूँ कि एक ऐसा इंग्लिश का वर्ड नहीं बोलना जो आपका जिसका मीनिंग नहीं है। अगर आप ऐसा इंग्लिश का वर्ड बोलेंगे जो मुझे उसका मीनिंग नहीं आता, तो आई विल डेफिनेटली आस्क यू बेटा मुझे इसका बात बताएं। अगर वो आपको नहीं आएगा तो आपके 15-20 नंबर वहीं कट जाएंगे। सेकेंडली, आपसे मैंने जो क्वेश्चन पूछे, बंगाल तक मैं गया, वो मैंने आपसे नहीं पूछने थे अगर आप लैंग्वेज की बेस पे बात ना करते। आपको पता है पाकिस्तान के अंदर जो सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट हुआ आफ्टर द क्रिएशन ऑफ पाकिस्तान, बेस्ड ऑन लैंग्वेज।
जी सर।
तो हम वी आर सो अफ्रेड और वी आर स्केर्ड कि हम लोगों को उनकी आइडेंटिटी नहीं दे सकते हैं। आपको पता है हिंदी बंगाल का जो एक कॉन्सेप्ट, जो एक कॉन्फ्लिक्ट आया था, सो दिस शुड नॉट बी आवर अप्रोच। अगर हम समझते भी हैं तो हमने इंटरव्यू में वो वाला लूज एरिया नहीं छोड़ना जहाँ से, क्योंकि फिर ये कि हम उन एरियाज़ के ऊपर लेके चलें जो हमारी स्ट्रेंथ है। आप ऐसा फिर उसको पॉइंट दें, उसे पूछे, आप उसके आगे फिर एक पॉइंट दें, ताकि पूरा आपका इंटरव्यू पूछने की ना ज़रूरत पड़े कि आपने परफॉर्मा में क्या लिखा, वहीं पे आपका कंक्लूड हो जाए। तो ये इंटरव्यू के टेक्निक है, ठीक है। और कोई आपको क्वेश्चन?
सर आपने एक कहा था मुझे कि आउट ऑफ कॉन्टेक्स्ट ना जाएं, सिर्फ वो कहाँ पे वो रेड लाइन होती है कि ये आउट ऑफ
देखिए, आउट ऑफ कंटेक्स्ट से मुराद ये है, जब मैंने आपसे पूछा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को रन करना, आपने उसकी अपनी एक्सप्लेनेशन कर दी, ठीक है। देखिए, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के अंदर कोई डिस्क्रिपेंसी आएगी, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन अमेंडमेंट है ना, इंसान बनाते हैं, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन अमेंडमेंट के अंदर कोई डिस्क्रिपेंसी आएगी, दैट कैन बी एड्रेस बाय अनदर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट।
जी सर।
ठीक है। अब वो जो इश्यूज हैं वो हम बहुत ज़्यादा, तो ये टू द पॉइंट, ये क्योंकि पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के अंदर है। पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के अंदर शायद आपने पता नहीं पढ़ा कि नहीं पढ़ा ये वाला।
पढ़ा है कि इट्स अ लिविंग डॉक्यूमेंट, सईद मंसूर अली शाह साहब ने बात कही।
हाँ, इट्स अ लिविंग डॉक्यूमेंट ना, चेंज हो सकता है ना कोई, ये वो तो चेंज नहीं हो सकती, तो सेक्रेट बुक्स नहीं हो सकती ना चेंज। ये तो इंसान है, इस पर थोड़ा सा हमने रिजिड रखा हुआ है कि ऐसे भी ना हो कि मैं और आप अपनी विशेस के ऊपर हम उसको चेंज करते रहें फॉर आवर ओन एडवांटेज, इसलिए उसको थोड़ा सा रिजिड बनाया गया है। अमेरिका का कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है, हमसे भी रिजिड है कि 2/3 पास करती है उनके बोथ हाउसेज, फिर 3/4 जो है उनके स्टेट्स अप्रूव करेंगी, 38 आउट ऑफ 50 उनकी जो है। तो ये लिविंग डॉक्यूमेंट है, तो इस चीज़ों की कोशिश करें, क्वेश्चन को सोचें, सुने, 5 सेकंड का 8 सेकंड का पॉज लें उसके मुताबिक। एंड उसके बाद देखिए, इंटरव्यू जो होता है ना बेटा, उसके अंदर कोई एग्जैक्ट कोई बात कहना कि यार दीज आर द पैरामीटर्स, हम फरिश्ते तो नहीं है, आप डिफरेंट है, मैं डिफरेंट, दूसरा डिफरेंट है, तो हर बंदे का बात को देखने का स्टाइल, वो कैसे ऐसे इनोवेटिव आइडियाज़ भी निकल सकते हैं। लेकिन जो चीज़ें हमारे बुक्स में अवेलेबल हैं, हम उससे रिलेटेड चीज़ें नहीं पता करते। ठीक,
आप रिलैक्स करें, अपनी एनर्जी को जो है वो, जैसे किसी वीडियो गेम्स में होता है, कोई ऐसे में शायद जब उसको मौका पड़ता है तो वो दोबारा एनर्जी बहाल करने के लिए ना उसे टाइम चाहिए होता है।
वो पावर गैप होता है।
यस, वो पावर जो गैप है वो आपने साइकोलॉजी पढ़ी हुई है, उसको कॉन्फिडेंस में अपना उसको बहाल करें, और अब आपने अपने आप को थोड़ा सा एनर्जी बहाल करें। बेस्ट विशेस।
थैंक यू सो मच सर।